program.
Recording started.
In this short time frame, we plan to review what the Local Government Efficiency Program is and the LeanOhio Boot Camp, what is involved with the training, the background and credentials of your LeanOhio Boot Camp facilitators, and finally, we'll open it up for your questions and discuss how the learning applies to your organization. Also, we're lucky today that joining us on this webinar, we have Racquel Graham, the Systems Improvement Consultant at the State of Ohio, as well as Nicole Bent, the Section Supervisor, as well as my colleagues, Amy Lane, Greg Farabee, and John Potkalitsky, our Kent State Facilitator. And all of us are available to respond to your questions. So if you would please mute your line so that we don't get any feedback. And there also is a chat window to the right of your screen. And feel free to ask any questions there as they come about, and then we'll answer them at the end. So what is the Local Government Efficiency Program? The state is offering funding to local government entities to learn and apply lean strategies to innovate, provide better services, and save money. There are two ways to take advantage of this fantastic opportunity and to receive funding. The first funding opportunity is for a grant for up to $100,000 through the Ohio Development Services Agency to implement process improvement initiatives within your organization. Kent State Center for Corporate and Professional Development may serve as your consultant to plan and facilitate process improvement initiatives. Secondly, $2,000 scholarships are available to cover the registration fee for you and your staff to attend the week-long LeanOhio Boot Camp. As an overview, this is an intensive training, and you will learn to use lean methods and tools to make process improvements to your organization. The entire program is tailored to the public sector workplace and processes. This is a practical training aimed at generating results. We're delivering this program in 4 locations in 2014. So what is LeanOhio? LeanOhio is an approach to making government services simpler, faster, better, and less costly. The LeanOhio Boot Camp was designed by a public sector team of Lean Six Sigma Black Belts with years of experience in government. Team members have planned, led, and facilitated hundreds of Lean events, including major Kaizen events that have saved millions of dollars. LeanOhio is now passing this opportunity for process improvement to local government entities. I'd like to now introduce Racquel Graham from the state of Ohio to tell you more about Ohio's approach to Lean.
Hello. Thanks for joining us. We're very excited about this opportunity to bring Lean Six Sigma strategies to local government as well as state government. We've been at this a couple of years at the state, and we primarily have done Kaizen events, and Kaizen means to break for the better. And these are 5-day events at the state where a team of people who are working in a process actually take the time to step back and examine the process, understand it, and make improvements. And by week's end, they're ready to implement some things the following Monday. And that's one of the reasons that this has been so successful, is that people are given that time and that support, and implementation occurs right away instead of kind of, well, maybe we'll think about doing this. So we have done hundreds, as Corianne said, of Lean events, and we have been very successful. Part of what we really have focused on is developing results so that people can see that this really does work in the public sector. These Lean and Six Sigma practices are tried and true in business and industry, but we have taken them and really translated them into government practices. So we focus on improving processes, and that, you know, everything we do has a process. It's the way we get things done to produce something for our customer. If you think about it, absolutely everything you do has a process, even brushing your teeth in the morning. And every process includes some waste, and Lean is about eliminating waste. And so we are trying to eliminate waste and provide value for our customers. And that would be the public or the taxpayers. So we will, you know, one of the things that we do is to help people with identifying projects. You know, that's always a big issue, and in the training we will walk you through a process for identifying a project. When you leave at the end of the week, you will have a project in mind and a plan for going back and making an improvement in your organization. Certainly when we think about projects, we start with it being aligned to our strategic plan. We want to focus on the customers and what improvements we can make with them. In Lean Six Sigma, we do some what we call value stream mapping, although we don't really cover that so specifically in this course, but it's a way of helping to look at your whole value stream and identifying where you need to make improvements or where you can make improvements. And of course, the data that you have can tell you where something is going wrong or could use some improvement. And finally, often people will use audit findings as places to say, this is a place where we need to improve. You know, obviously one of the most important things in selecting a project is what keeps you or your boss up at night worrying about what you need to do to improve your customers' expectations. So in state government, one of the things we do, this is sort of a little result of what we've done in the last year and a half, I guess. And we expect when we do Kaizen events, when we implement Lean Six Sigma Kaizen events, that we will make a transformational improvement. And transformational means at least 50% better. And so in our experience so far, we've had teams that have ripped through red tape, decreasing and cutting an average of 56% of the steps in the processes that they improved, resulting in far fewer delays, decision points, loopbacks, and frustration for the government customers. Lean is also about speed. In 2013, Kaizen teams made their processes twice as fast from when a customer asks for a service to when that service is delivered. They reduced, which is called lead time. They reduced process time, which is the time that goes into the process itself, by 53%, and eliminating backlogs of work for in their organizations. The third thing we like to look at is that it makes government less costly to implement Lean and Six Sigma, and certainly saving money and making better use of taxpayer dollars are major priorities for us. Cost savings in 2013 were projected to be, when they're fully implemented, will exceed $125 million. So we have conservatively calculated that the return on investment for LeanOhio activities is more than 40 to 1. So that really means every dollar invested in LeanOhio activities, the state has gained more than $40 in projected savings. You know, our primary goal in government is really not to save money or to make money, and the currency of government really is time. And so that time that we've saved and that savings really goes into providing better and more services for the customers. We want to better serve the customers and the public. Some projects at the Bureau of Workers' Compensation, a project that they did ended up in returning injured workers to work 4 days sooner, which really is a benefit to both of them and to the worker, the employer, because the productivity of those workers is important, but most workers don't want to be sitting at home either, and they would rather be back at work. With the tax appeal process was taking far too long, and they had a volume of 16,000 appeals that were waiting to be processed. And their improvement project, their Kaizen event, ended up eliminating that backlog and keeping it eliminated and reducing the time that it takes to process those appeals. With the Bureau of Motor Vehicles, car dealerships have to get licensed to be able to sell cars. And initially, they were waiting, 200 and some odd days, during which they had to have a place of business inventory and employees, and they had to wait almost probably 3/4 of a year before they could actually sell cars. So reducing that by 186 days, so now that the dealerships can get their licenses in no more than 6 weeks, saves the businesses themselves $200,000 to $300,000 each. And that was calculated actually by the trade group that was representing the car dealerships in the Kaizen event. And the last one that we really like, we have hundreds of these, and you can find them on the LeanOhio website. But one of our favorite stories is about the DNA lab at the public safety's DNA lab, and it was taking 126 days for them to properly process those DNA samples, and they reduced that to 21 days, and that helps to make sure that the right person is convicted and that the person who's not guilty can be exonerated more quickly as well. So these are just a few of these results that we've experienced in state government and have found really successful, and people have found great satisfaction in making things better for their customers as well as saving time and money. So that can be available at the local level as well through this local government efficiency program that is providing training and grants to local government. So we're very excited about that possibility, and have started already working with a few local governments, and we're excited about the training coming up at Kent State. So I'm going to turn the webinar over now to Greg Farabee.
Thank you, Racquel, and good afternoon, everybody. Thanks for joining us. Kent State's team has the expertise and credentials to assist your organization in deploying continuous improvement. Our experience and comprehensive approach assists you in learning the key concepts of the DMAIC approach, team-oriented problem solving, Six Sigma, Lean, as well as theory of constraints. In addition, Kent State consultants may work with you to provide the knowledge of the tools and methodologies to assure that the most effective deployment of your continuous improvement initiative. Two of Kent State's continuous improvement facilitators serve as your LeanOhio boot camp instructors, as well as your on-site consultants. And in the next couple minutes here, I'm going to go ahead and share a brief profile of each of them, starting with John Potkalitsky, who will speak shortly. John Potkalitsky recently retired from Eaton Corporation after 20 years of successfully deploying lean in manufacturing and office environments at both domestic and international plant sites. During the last 8 years, Potkalitsky was part of a corporate group of experienced lean practitioners who developed and delivered training on lean tools and deployment and assessment. Potkalitsky has provided office professionals and frontline supervisors with essential skills and tools they need to make lean efforts self-sustaining. Potkalitsky has personally trained over 1,200 office professionals. Prior to Eaton, he spent 18 years in manufacturing and materials organizations improving productivity. He has held various positions in shop supervision, manufacturing, engineering, and materials management at Goodyear Aerospace, Johnson & Johnson, and Warner and Swayze. Potkalitsky holds a BS degree in industrial technology from Kent State University, and John facilitates Kent State's certificate in lean tools and Kaizen. Our second facilitator, John Novak, is a Lean Six Sigma Master Black Belt. He received his bachelor's degree in industrial technology from Bowling Green State University and his MBA from Kent State University. His technical skills are with industrial engineering, software development, and internal auditing. John has worked with Kent State University to assist customers in a variety of industries, including Technographics, Elyria Foundry, university hospitals, W.W. Granger, and many others to fulfill their training needs. John facilitates the Kent State University Lean Six Sigma Green Belt program, as well as the certificate in Lean Tools and Kaizen. At this point, I'd like to turn the presentation over to John Potkalitsky.
Thanks, Greg. In summary, continuous improvement is a new way to think about what you currently do. The strategic elimination of wasteful activities and a systematic approach to improve processes by reducing variation. It is also a set of tools to help your organization improve processes. As you'll notice, the slide that's in front of you, the last bullet item is a set of tools, and it's been my experience that the tools, the challenge of improvements, about 10 to 20% of that challenge is tools. The other 80–90% of that challenge is how well your people accept change. So in the LeanOhio boot camp, we spend a lot of time talking about ideas on how people can change their culture. In summary, continuous improvement is not time studies, it's not fewer people, tightening your belt, making do without, and certainly not something that requires a PhD to understand. Thank you. I'd like to ask Corianne.
Sure. Thank you, John. Remember, we'll take questions at the end of the presentation, and you could submit your questions by typing them in the chat window to the right of your screen. The LeanOhio Boot Camp, Transforming the Public Sector, is being offered 4 times in 2014 at different Kent State locations throughout Northeast Ohio. You can see the dates posted on this slide and also on our website. And to register for the LeanOhio Boot Camp sessions and to discuss implementing a process improvement initiative utilizing the Kent State grant, or the state grant funding, please visit our website and click on the LGEP icon, or you can give us a call. We're happy to help you get started on your journey. And now I'd like to turn the presentation back over to Racquel, who can discuss the funding application process.
Okay, thanks. So as has been said, there's grant money available to local political subdivisions to begin to have a change process to implement a lean project, improving a process, so that you get results and learn about it at the same time. And the application is an online application at the Development Services Agency website. It's a little challenging to find, I think. So if you follow the link that's here, or if you go to lean.ohio.gov, you'll find a link there as well. And the application form, you have to first get an account, a user account, and then you can complete the application for funding for a project. Part of that project can be some training. If you're doing an improvement project, likely you will need some just-in-time training, and part of the grant funding can be used to hire a local consultant to help you with that project. So then there are also, for the Lean Bootcamp training, there's scholarship money available. And the course fee is $2,000 and the scholarship is $2,000. So you go to the same website and set up an account and apply for a scholarship through the program. And then when you get your approval, you'll get an approval number and use that with wherever you decide to register for the course. The scholarships are good for a year, so you know you don't have to. You can apply now, and doesn't mean you have to go right away. As you saw, Kent State has courses stretching out through the end of the year. And the grants are awarded quarterly. So you don't have to wait a whole year to apply for a grant again. They are, you can submit them quarterly. Nicole Bent is with me. She's from the Development Services Agency, who is partnering with us at LeanOhio to fulfill this grant and scholarship application process for local government. And so, Nicole, do you want to add anything?
Just, make sure you take down Racquel and I's contact information. If you have questions about the application process or you're having trouble with the online application, please reach out to me. Like Racquel said, it's not entirely intuitive, and so there have been many questions. Don't feel, bad or like, it's you if you can't figure it out. It's okay. Well, I will walk you through it. It's very easy for me to explain it to most people once we get on the phone together. So feel free to use that contact information as liberally as you need to.
Okay. So that's, in terms of information, I think those are the basics. I'm interested in, of course, in questions that any of you have about, our experience so far or what's working or whatever questions you might have.
Okay, well, I thank you, Racquel and Nicole. We'll now open it up for questions, and I do have a couple that have come in. So the first one is, would you recommend that we attend the boot camps first and then determine the project?
Well, once you have attended the boot camp, you'll have a much better idea of what you're looking for in a project. But if you already know of something, a process that's causing you problems, certainly, you can approach this from either direction. We really highly recommend that people do both eventually, that you do the training and a project. In what order, might make sense to do the training first, but isn't essential.
Okay. And the next one, does the project have to be a new project or something that the organization is currently working to solve?
I think, this is Nicole, I think it would depend on sort of where you're at in the process. Each project is very unique, and so that's probably something that you just want to call Racquel and I about, and we could chat. Sometimes things, fit well with the program, and sometimes they don't. We want to encourage all types of projects, so I don't want to say no. right now, because that's definitely not the case. A lot of times projects are phased over a long period of time, and it would make sense to use our funding for one or more of the phases.
I think that, you know, the idea of process improvement projects is just that, is to look at a process and study it completely before you make decisions about what you're going to do about it. And so if you're already into something and you know what you're going to do, then that's probably, we would say that's probably not a great project for this opportunity.
Now, we do have a sister program, the innovation program, in which if you're already, like Racquel said, if you've already made decisions and you need some money to actually carry out those plans for, you know, sort of tangible items, we have a 0% interest loan fund available through the innovation program. Same website, same process for the application, different questions, but you could utilize some low-cost loan funding to do something if you were at that point in your project.
Thank you.
But as Nicole says, bottom line, if you have an idea you want to toss around, call one of us.
And does the whole agency have to work on one project, or can we have multiple members work on different projects for the agency?
The way that we look at projects in this world of Lean and Six Sigma and process improvement is that the people who work on the project are the people who do the work, who are actually, and to supervise the work. So it would not necessarily be all the people in the agency, certainly. And you can have several projects, and you can apply for more than one grant.
Yeah, any number of unique projects.
And can you explain the time frames of the applications for both the scholarships and grants?
Sure. So the scholarships are accepted on a rolling basis. The only caveat being any individual political subdivision can only receive 12 scholarships per quarter. And we run our quarters from application deadline to application deadline. So for this quarter, it is March 10th to June 9th. The quarters are basically the second Monday of every 3 months. So the next one would be in September. So the turnaround time for those applications is pretty short. We're running about a week right now. Less so if you call and need it rushed for some reason. We can just, you know, sort of say, here's a number and give it to an application processor, and they'll take care of that more quickly if needed. For the grants, there is about a 3-month turnaround time. So because we run in cycles and we're a council-based program, the agency itself is not the decision maker, the council is. So everything, the application comes to us, and at the agency, you know, we have staff who reviews and scores and presents the information to the council, and then the council is the final decider. So that takes about 3 months. It's just shy of 3 months.
And how many people from my organization can attend the boot camp? I know you had mentioned 12 people per quarter, but what if I have more than that?
Well, so you can, if you have 12 people approved for scholarships in this quarter by June 9th, and you have 12 people who are approved for scholarships beginning after June 9th, all of those people could be in the same training class, right? But their scholarship approvals were in different time periods, in those different time periods. So, and we try to cap the classes at 24 people.
Okay. And what is
the vouchers? Sorry.
Go ahead.
So the vouchers are good for 1 year after they're approved, and so that will enable any agency to have, you know, basically as large of a class as they want.
Okay.
You could get 48 in 1 year, and that's 2 full classes.
Yeah, so in terms of you could get that many people trained in a year quite readily.
Is funding only available for fiscal year 2014, or will programs still be available in 2015?
Good question. We were allocated funding in the budget for both fiscal years 2014 and 2015, and we'll be carrying forward any remaining balances from 2014 into 2015. And then we'll play wait and see next year in June.
What is the best way for us to decide on a process for our process improvement project?
Well, so in addition to, you know, we'll address that issue during the training. On the LeanOhio website, there is a project selection guide that you can download and use to perhaps help you think about what potential projects you might have. Or you can, you know, call Nicole or I and consult with one of us. But typically we ask people to look at, you know, what's causing the most heartache, you know, where is the pain from the customer's perspective? You know, what does the customer need to have improved? And to focus on a process in that delivery of whatever it is that the customer is looking for. But we look at, you know, kind of what's in alignment with your strategic plan, where is it that you need to go, what do you need to change, what's causing you heartburn or keeping your boss up at night, what is your customer really needing. And ideally, if you have some data that says, you know, this is not working very well, we need to look at this, you could let the data guide you in terms of where to focus a process improvement effort.
I agree with Racquel. Start with your pain points. You know, where are you getting squeezed? What are you behind on? Or what are your typical, the typical areas where you are sort of always rushing to get it done or have a backlog? Start with those sort of more obvious things, I think, and then you'll be able to get more refined once you go through the process a few times.
Well, that was
John. Does John have anything to add to that?
No, I don't, Racquel.
Okay.
No, I like the fact that you mentioned the strategic plan. I think that's very key, and it's been my experience, as long as you select processes that are directly or indirectly linked to your strategic plan, those become the most important processes for the organization. So I think focusing on where do you want to go, you have a vision, and how do I get there? I got my strategic plan, and there's going to be very key processes that are going to support that strategic plan. That's a good place to start.
And that was the last question that I have in the chat. If anyone wants to quickly get anything in there, that would be great. If not, we want to thank you for attending the boot camp. And as long as you registered ahead of time, I can email this PowerPoint presentation out to you, and we'll also be making the webinar available on our website. So if you have colleagues that weren't able to attend but are interested as well, we can make that available to them.